The lawyer's briefcase clicked open like a gunshot in my kitchen. I stood frozen at the stove, dish towel still in my hand, watching my daughter Renee sit at my table like she hadn't vanished for 11 years. Like she hadn't left a screaming, overwhelmed toddler on my porch with nothing but a diaper bag and a note that said, "I can't." My name is Eleanor Voss. I'm 61 years old, and I have spent the last decade learning what it means to love someone the world keeps underestimating. What does it mean to be a mother? The woman who shows up, or the woman who gave birth? "He's a minor," Renee said, not looking at me. "Legally, I still have rights." Our lawyer, Mr. Halloran, had warned me that morning, voice low and apologetic. "Eleanor, custody gaps this long, it's messy. We might lose partial claim to the earnings." I felt the floor tilt beneath me. Then I heard it. Soft. Steady. My grandson's voice, the one that rarely rose above a whisper. The one people mistook for weakness. "Grandma," Caleb said, eyes fixed somewhere past all of us. "Just let her talk." I had never seen him look so calm. Renee's lawyer straightened his tie, sensing an opening. "My client isn't here for confrontation, Mrs. Voss. She's here to reconnect. And under state law, a biological parent retains rights to a minor's estate absent formal termination." Formal termination. Two words I'd never filed for, because filing meant admitting she wasn't coming back. Some part of me had kept a door open for 11 years, even while I built a life around closing it. Caleb didn't flinch. He sat across from his mother, a stranger with his same gray-green eyes, and folded his hands the way he did before solving something complicated. "Ask her why," he said quietly. Renee blinked. "Why what, sweetheart? Don't call me that." His voice stayed flat, unbothered. "Ask her why now. Not 11 years ago. Not 5. Now." Halloran shifted beside me, unsure where this was going. I wanted to grab Caleb's shoulder, tell him lawyers handled the talking, not 16-year-olds who still lined up his cereal boxes by color. But Renee's mouth opened, then closed. Her lawyer's pen hovered, waiting for an answer she suddenly didn't have. For the first time since she'd walked in, Renee looked cornered. The silence stretched long enough that Halloran cleared his throat, ready to fill it for her. Caleb lifted one hand, barely, and the lawyer stopped like he'd been told. "I read about you," Renee finally said, her voice thinner now. "The app. Everyone's talking about it. I thought—" She stopped herself, started again. "I thought maybe there was room for me to be proud of you." "You could have been proud of me at 7, Caleb said. "When I didn't talk for a year and Grandma learned sign language in a parking lot from YouTube videos on her lunch break." I hadn't told him that detail. I'd never told anyone that detail. Renee's lawyer leaned toward her, whispering something urgent. She waved him off. "I don't want the money," she said suddenly. "I want—" "Then sign the release," Caleb said, sliding a folder across the table I had known he'd prepared. Halloran's eyes went wide beside me. Renee stared at the papers like they might bite her. Her hand trembled over the pen. "Before you sign," Caleb added softly, "there's something you should know about that app." Her hand froze midair. "What do you mean?" Renee asked. "Something about the app?" Caleb tapped the folder, calm as still water. "It's called Kindred. It matches nonverbal kids with communication tools based on how they process the world, not how doctors assume they should." He paused. "I built it because nobody built one for me." Renee's lawyer flipped through the release forms, frowning at something on page 2. "This isn't a standard waiver," he said slowly. "This is a foundation transfer document." "That's right," Caleb said. 60% of Kindred's earnings already fund communication devices for kids in the foster system. Kids like I almost was, before Grandma took me instead of letting the state find me a placement. I hadn't known that either. My throat tightened. Renee looked up, something cracking behind her eyes. "You're giving away 60%? "I don't need it," Caleb said. "I needed a mother. You weren't available for that job, so I hired myself for a different one." The room went utterly silent. Halloran set down his pen entirely, no longer performing his role as attorney, just watching, like the rest of us, as the boy everyone had underestimated dismantled the room without raising his voice. Renee's hand finally moved toward the pen. Her pen touched the paper, then lifted again, hovering like it weighed more than it should. "Wait," she said. "Before I sign this, I need you to know I didn't leave because I didn't love you." Caleb's expression didn't change, but I saw his fingers tighten slightly against the folder's edge. The only sign in 11 years that this still cost him something. "I was 22, Renee continued. "I had postpartum depression nobody diagnosed, a husband who left the week you were born, and a mother," she glanced at me, "who I thought would judge me for struggling. So I ran instead of asking for help." Halloran shifted, uncomfortable now that the conversation had moved somewhere no legal document could touch. I opened my mouth to defend myself, then stopped. Had I made it hard for her to come back? Had my pride built a wall neither of us noticed? Caleb finally spoke. "That's the first true thing you've said since you walked in." Renee's eyes filled. "Does that change anything?" He looked at her steadily. "It changes what I believe. It doesn't change what I sign." Her lawyer's pen stopped moving entirely. Renee set down the pen, untouched by ink, and pressed her palms flat against the table, like she needed something solid to hold on to. "Then why are you being kind to me?" she asked. "If it doesn't change anything?" "Because Grandma taught me the difference between forgiveness and access," Caleb said. "I can't forgive you from here." He didn't gesture toward the money, or the house, or any of it. He tapped his own chest instead. "You don't need a seat at my table for that to be true." Her lawyer finally spoke, quiet now, some of the performance drained out of him. "Ms. Voss, for what it's worth, this release protects your daughter from future estate liability too. It's not just taking. It's clean for both parties." Renee looked at me for the first time since she'd sat down. Really looked. "You did this," she said. "Not an accusation. Something closer to grief. You made him into someone I don't recognize." "No," I said, my voice finally steady. "I just didn't leave. He built the rest himself." Renee's hand found the pen again. This time it didn't shake. She signed her name in one long, unbroken line. The pen clattered against the table when she finished, louder than it should have been in that small kitchen. Halloran gathered the signed pages with visible relief, sliding them into his briefcase like something fragile he didn't fully trust himself to carry. Renee's lawyer stood, offering me a curt nod that felt more like surrender than courtesy. But Renee didn't move. "Can I ask you something?" she said to Caleb. "Just one thing. Not legal. Not about money." He tilted his head, waiting. "Do you think someday there could be something else? Not a mother. I know that ship left a long time ago. But something?" The kitchen held its breath. I realized I was gripping the dish towel, so hard my knuckles had gone white. Caleb considered her the way he considered everything, slowly, without performance, weighing the actual shape of the question instead of the emotion behind it. "I don't know yet," he finally said. "But I know where to find you now." That's more than I had yesterday. Renee's face crumpled, not with defeat this time, but something closer to hope. Then she reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope I hadn't noticed before. She slid the envelope across the table, hands no longer trembling. "It's not much. I've been saving since I saw the news story about you. I wanted to give you something before I asked for anything." Inside was a photograph, Caleb at 4, asleep in her arms, before the porch, before the note, before 11 years became a canyon between them. "I kept one picture," she said. "It's the only thing I couldn't leave behind." Caleb held it for a long moment, something unreadable moving across his face. Then he set it beside the folder, gently, like both belonged to the same story now. "Thank you," he said. Nothing more, nothing less. After they left, the house settled into its old quiet. I found Caleb at the kitchen table, still holding the photograph, tracing the edge of it with one finger. "You okay?" I asked. "I built something that outlived what she couldn't give me," he said. "That's not revenge. That's just architecture." I sat beside him, finally understanding that some closures don't roar. They whisper the way he always had, and somehow that whisper had rebuilt us both from the porch step up.